It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations. I just ate. Bad sign. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste. 96 calories. Available for delivery.
It's not just that he ate. Also, as an added bonus,
a heater.
He said right before, well, the heater as well, but right before we started, he said he was too tired to do these today, that he'd prefer to do them tomorrow.
I feel like I hear some mashed potatoes in there, too.
There are. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff scrunched up in my teeth. I don't know what to do about it. I really don't.
Too tired to deliver the weekend observation.
Dan, we haven't seen him since he withdrew from the Masters in the third round. This weekend, that changes, as he will tee it up at the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, Tiger Woods is back. You excited?
I'm not discounting that you are indeed tired.
Right.
I'm not calling you a liar. I have every reason to believe you.
I didn't say
that
to Dan, right? Okay, anyway. Well,
but I have every reason to believe you.
You did so? What do you mean you didn't say that to me?
But I do
want
shows
today.
That was off air, though.
I do want to point out that it's just Monday. It's not even noon at the time that we've recorded.
Quick question. Who's patrolling space? A lot of strange going on up there.
Got a point.
The final frontier. Dan, you know what the S in space stands for?
I do not.
Strange. What's happening up there? This James Webb telescope is becoming a problem.
It is?
It's finding things I don't want it to find. I don't care. Honestly, I'm in the moment. I'm only in the moment. I don't care what happened a billion years before we got here. I don't care. It's a dangerous game. Put the telescope away. Just saying.
You don't want more information.
No.
It's the most consistent thing about you, that you don't want to open your mind to new information.
The Earth is only 10,000 years old.
Actually, Joe, it's only 6.
See? Put it away. Max Verstappen said Vegas is not passionate about Formula One. See? Mashed potatoes. Max, Vegas is passionate about two things: strippers and blow. Another week, another moral victory for Mario Cristobal.
Gambling didn't make the cut.
No,
Cocaine.
gambling. Come on.
I would have put the Golden Knights up there.
I mean, gambling, it's like eating there. Gambling. Come on. They're not passionate about it, just a way of life.
They love their aces.
Another week, another moral victory for Mario Cristobal. Dan, you know what the M in Mario Cristobal stands for?
Moral victory.
Good guess, but no. It stands for maybe, just maybe, he's not a good coach.
You tricked me on that.
That was
one.
tough.
It
was a real bait. It was a real bait and switch. The old switcheroo.
Congratulations to Mario, though, on becoming the fastest coach ever to get to 25 moral victories.
Video, go ahead and focus in on Billy there real quick. Billy, are you just tired of Stugotz? Like when he said he was too tired to do
He's tired too.
Weekend observations, but is he tired of you?
2 shows, Dano.
It's just I've read the script before. I know what happens. He's tired to do it on Monday, so we punt till Tuesday. Tuesday's tired, we punt till Wednesday. Wednesday comes. Why do we have so much things to do on Wednesday? I'm tired. It's like because you didn't want to do it on Monday or Tuesday. That's how this happens. Every week it happens.
Thank you for your support, Billy.
TYFYS.
Charissa Thompson, you are the sideline reporter I've been waiting for my entire life. So proud of her.
He came in here mumbling under his breath about Lisa Salters.
They all came out.
Oh, they did.
They did,
I mean,
right.
I didn't realize.
Little too aggressive.
I did not realize they had such an army. I did not realize the community was so united.
An army of sideline reporters.
It was.
Imagine someone coming out, though, and saying everything you've dedicated your entire life to, you could just lie about it. No one cares. Like, you'd probably.
It's basically saying, but when they don't give me anything, I just kind of assume.
I sit next to him every day. Everything I care about, he comes in here and he on.
That's not true.
I mean, this is a
not
place,
everything.
This is a place where I am totally unsurprised that you would advocate for the pure making up of on television.
Come on, man. I care about Diddy. Whole story.
What?
I mean, what you care about, I care
The
about.
story
What I
you
care
care
about,
about.
you
Thank-
care
thank-
about.
thank
Right,
you
I
for
care about the story.
Not
Right,
Diddy.
I asked a
It's a
question.
weird
I
day
mean,
to announce your
you know what I'm
public
saying, but
support for
I care about
Diddy.
the story. That's it.
Perhaps
Whatever
you were
Dan
too
cares
tired
about,
to do
I
this.
care about.
Go
Yeah.
bleep yourself, San Diego.
Jesus. You know what the C in PFT commenter stands for? It stands for choke job. He choked. I mean, I love him, but he choked.
Did you do better?
Could I do better?
You
No,
saying his
well,
stats?
You were on game day.
No, he had
before
a
as
field
guest
goal.
picker.
He had a field goal to kick. He fancies himself as a field goal kicker for a lot of money, and he missed it, and it wasn't even close.
I thought you were
He
talking about his
choked.
picks.
No, I didn't even see his pitch.
No, you got to explain though when you say he choked.
Well, I mean, I figured everyone saw the field goal.
I mean, we all saw him picking games at the end and thought that's what you were talking
I
about.
thought you thought he
he
wasn't
picked
funny or
games.
something.
I mean,
pick the Canes.
really? Choke job. Michigan, Ohio State for the whole ball of wax. Dan, you know what the L in Lincoln Riley stands for?
Lost.
Losses. Lots of losses, Dan. You're on your game. Hawaii, playing at noon Eastern, is blasphemy. The Rainbows at 12 noon are a totally different team than the Rainbow Warriors at 12 a.m.
It's true.
Different team. Chip Kelly wins his final game against USC as the UCLA head coach. One might say the Bruins won one for the Chipper.
Why would one say that?
One might say. I didn't say they would say it. I just said one might say that. I said it. One might say. I mean, anyway,
For the Chipper.
it's a bad joke. Somehow the Steelers and Browns
You're tired. As you
made
said.
me yearn for Iowa and Illinois. The Illini. Sam Hartman with the rare senior day against the team you played for 5 seasons.
Can I stop you for a second on the Iowa game here real quick? Because
That's amazing Hartman did that. Yeah, go ahead.
I did see it reported that the last, I'm going to say 9 or was it 12 games that Iowa has had, the total has been 35 or under, and they've come in under every time.
It's money in the bank. I bet it every
single-
week.
No, it's 9 for 9, but the number has been 35. The total has been 35 or under and 9 for 9. That's crazy.
This week it was pacing to over too, and then it just stopped. No points in the third. I was like, oh, let's go.
Congratulations to Michigan as they celebrate getting their 1,000th win. Looking forward to doing it again when these wins get vacated for cheating.
We are going to end up doing it again.
Michigan blocking cameras with flags. Would hate for somebody to steal their signals.
That was rich.
How about a kid running onto the field with a T-shirt that said "Free Harbaugh" for the Michigan team?
I get it. I'm not going to say I don't understand the persecution complex, but they seem to have quit on it.
The V in Max Verstappen stands for Viva Las Vegas. It also stands for very predictable. Clock struck midnight on James Madison. The Dukes. It took the Texans less than 10 games to find the quarterback I've been searching for my entire life. I hate them.
He makes so many great throws, just absurd throws.
They should have covered that game 4 different times yesterday.
Panthers GM not having a great month, huh?
I'm gambling again.
Big rat poison week.
Oh, for the love of God, you with the rat poison.
Back door wide open.
Deion Sanders said, I'm bringing my luggage with me, and it's Louis. His Colorado team is about as Louis as one of those counterfeit bags on Canal Street.
I see those more in New York than on Canal Street. I think of that as a New York trait, the faux, the fake stuff sold in the street.
Canal Street.
In New York.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought that was New Orleans. I think of
You
New
are not
Orleans.
allowed to
It's a
do the
fine.
Italian
Are you
fingers
tired?
ever again.
You cannot disrespect New York like that.
I think of, put it on the poll, please. Canal Street, New York or New Orleans?
New York, always New York.
Resounding. It's gonna
Resounding New York.
Not for me. I'm sorry. What do you want me to tell you?
Apologize.
I need you to change your mind.
I
When
just
you-
did.
I
say- I
Stop
said I'm
doing
sorry.
no more Italian.
Change
changes.
your mind.
When you type it
Change
into
your mind.
Google and just hit enter, the New York one does come up first.
Thank you.
Say you were wrong.
I
Again,
already apologized.
Not loud
Well, you
enough.
put it on a poll. I mean,
I said I'm sorry.
I know, but you're hoping the listeners will make you look better
The actual
and-
words
Call
I'm
yourself an idiot.
sorry started.
Call yourself an idiot.
I'm not going to call myself an idiot. That would be redundant.
few things scarier for a quarterback than an unblocked Aaron Donald. Bad timeout, stupid penalty should be the slogan of Miami football. The H in Hurricanes stands for hardly anybody there to watch them lose.
That was a bad crowd.
It always is.
That's a top 10 team coming into town.
Yeah.
They also had a terrible buy one get two free promo.
boy.
That. What? Yeah, 3 tickets for the price of 1.
Tyler from Spartanburg should get some Heisman votes.
They haven't lost
They're
since.
playing so much better.
At least Coach of the Year
They are
consideration.
playing so much better since they pissed off Dabo.
Nobody goes down 7-0 and then proceeds to choke you out and beat you into oblivion like the Georgia Bulldogs. They love to do that. Spot you 7 points.
Tennessee was feeling pretty good. Yeah, we're going to be the... No, never mind. We're going to be the ones who do it. Yeah.
Missouri is a top 10 team. That's all I got. Dan, that's why you go out and get Jalen Ramsey.
That is right.
NC State, 4 straight wins. You know what they're doing, Dan?
Peaking at the right time.
They're getting hot at the right time. Good guess. Good guess. Close. No cigar.
I feel like Dan's was better.
Yeah, but he had that idiotic Canal Street thing.
He doesn't know where Canal.
Yeah,
That's right.
a moron.
The S in Brandon Staley stands for scorching hot seat.
Wow, it's upgraded to scorching.
Yeah. Jalen Ramsey, all he does is catch interceptions. Vic Fangio, stay upstairs. Another week, another 1-score loss for the Chargers. Jim Schwartz and Myles Garrett had Kenny Pickett in hell all game long. While he was there, I do wonder if he said hello to Art Briles for me. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
I feel like an idiot for asking this, someone writes in, but when Dan said, I have sources saying Aaron Rodgers was less injured than reported, is he being serious? It sounded so serious, but maybe it was just really good deadpan.
You don't get the show.
I want to go back for a second here, Stugotz, and tackle what it is that I felt pretty lonely about over the course of this weekend. And I understood it because I do believe that Stugotz speaks for the majority when he says of all of these sideline reporters gathering together and protecting the integrity of their craft. And there was absolutely an undercurrent here because this is a blonde woman from other sideline reporters saying, hey, the stereotype about us that we're always trying to climb over in order to get to credibility, Charissa has blasphemed against the seriousness of the profession in a way that made a whole bunch of people gather up defensively on what I think is a fairly obvious point, which is the reporter can't make something up. But we're at a place with where it is that people feel about journalism and media in general that I believe that I am in the minority when I say what I think is an obvious thing. A reporter making stuff up in my history in journalism has always been a fireable offense. Now, I'm not saying that she should be fired. I'm saying that the industry standard on this has always been that, except it doesn't seem like it's that now, and it also doesn't seem like people at large care very much. And there is where I feel super lonely, Stugotz, on the idea of this seems obvious to me that this can't be okay, and yet Stugotz is hardly alone with saying, yeah, don't care. Just assume sideline reporters make stuff up.
Before we get to your thoughts there, Stugotz, I want to play the original clip that from part of my take that got Charissa Thompson all in this trouble.
I've said this before, so I haven't been fired for saying it, but I'll say it again. I would make up the report sometimes because the coach wouldn't come out at halftime, or it was too late, and I was like, I didn't want to screw up the report, so I was like, I'm just going to make this up because first of all, no coach is going to get mad if I say, hey, we need to stop hurting ourselves. We need to be better on third down. We need to stop turning the ball
Pressure
over.
the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly, and do a better job of getting off the field. Like they're not going to correct me on that.
Right.
So I'm like, it's fine. I'll just make up the report.
I'll read her statement now. Let's address the elephant in the room. I have a responsibility to myself and employers to clarify what is being reported. When on a podcast this week, I said I would make up reports early in my career when I worked as a sideline reporter before I transitioned to my current host role. Working in media, I understand how important words are, and I chose the wrong words to describe the situation. I am sorry. I've never lied about anything or been unethical during my time as a sports broadcaster.
There is a discussion to be had as to why she's not getting the access that she should be getting, considering the right fees and what they pay for. They pay for that kind of access. So that's a separate conversation. But, Dan, the reason no one cares is, what is she lying about? It's sports. It's football. Someone is going down to her for a report, and she is saying, I spoke to the coach. The offense needs to block better.
That's what she's lying about.
I know, but Dan, it's football. It's sports. More people would care if this was serious stuff. It's not serious stuff.
Okay.
It's a football sideline report.
I would say that credibility should matter, and you should have a standard for what it is that you expect to be spoken from your broadcasters. And the standard shouldn't be so low as to, if it's made up, I'm good. If it's totally a made-up thing that first of all...
Well, she's denying that she made it up, even though she said in that clip. I mean, you line up her quote and what she said there. She says she chose the wrong words.
And she said it's not the first time she said that.
Yeah, no,
right.
her statement goes on to say that the stuff that she would say on these sideline reports would be stuff that she learned throughout working on the week. So it wasn't like she was being disingenuous about what the game plan was set out to be. She just had to think on her feet, and I think that that's a discussion. Stugotz alluded to it. Rachel Bonnetta actually kind of changed my perspective because I saw everybody lining up against Charissa Thompson, who I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with her story, but hasn't had an easy go of things in the public eye. And Rachel Bonnetta made me really think about it differently, in that the discussion is everybody going up against Charissa Thompson. You can understand why, but not how Charissa Thompson has to deal with. I mean, there are billions of dollars in rights fees to make sure a coach is available for these meaningless halftime things that all of a sudden we've attributed a ton of meaning to because heaven forbid Charissa Thompson think on her feet because a coach didn't want to give her the time of day to speak. How is that allowed? How is the issue not some of us talking about, wait a second, someone has to go as far as making things up because a coach doesn't want to talk to Charissa Thompson?
She doesn't have to make it up. Like, that shouldn't be one of the options, even if the coach isn't available.
Well, one of the options shouldn't necessarily be the coach can just buzz me off.
Well, she went on to say, in the absence of a coach providing any information that could further my report, I would use information that I learned and saw during the first half to create a report. For example, if a team was 0 for 7 on third down, that would clearly be an area they need to improve on in the second half. In these instances, I never attributed anything I said to a player or a coach. I have nothing but respect for sideline reporters and for the tireless work that they put in behind the scenes and on the field. I am only appreciative and humbled to work alongside some of the best in the business and call them some of my best friends. The issue is, and why everyone came out after her that's in the industry, is because then you just assume it could be made up by any one of these people. And a lot of these people had to work, not that she didn't, but a lot of these people had to work their entire careers to even get that opportunity and get to that position. And if you have someone coming on here saying, I could just kind of make my own report based on things that I'm seeing because no one talked to me, then you're like, well, they could say anything.
Can't I just be in the middle on this? Like, that's the part that I was taken aback by. The reaction of just, like, she's on a podcast, she's saying a thing, like, she's not lying about, she's not attributing, like she said, if she's making it up, she's not saying that it's a quote. She's just like, oh, they're bad on third down, they got to be better. Like, I feel like most of the time these things are white noise. I'm not even listening to these things, and everyone's so irate. It just feels like people are just looking for a reason to get mad.
But she's basically telling you what the coach would have said had she had access to the coach. Like, why do we care so much? Jay Billis has come on this radio show, this podcast, and he has said a number of times, of course I don't watch every college basketball team play. But that doesn't prevent me from going on. Dan, he has told me this.
Stugotz, it's not the same
Dan,
thing.
he does the NCAA preview show, and he's talking about a 16 seed that he's never watched before.
Pretending expertise is not the same. Play the sound again, because misspeaking, Stugotz, I didn't actually talk to the coach.
I've said this before, so I haven't been fired for saying it, but I'll say it again. I would make up the report sometimes because the coach wouldn't come out at halftime, or it was too late, and I was like, I didn't want to screw up the report, so I was like, I'm just going to make this up because first of all, no coach is going to get mad if I say, hey, we need to stop hurting ourselves. We need to be better on third down. We need to stop turning the ball
Pressure
over.
the quarterback.
Yeah, exactly, and do a better job of getting off the field. Like, they're not going to correct me on that.
Right.
So I'm like, it's fine. I'll just make up the report.
It's just weird judgment, right? Like on doing it, on sharing it, like on a podcast that you know, like part of my take.
She
the
said it
biggest
before,
sports
though.
Podcast, like
Right.
everyone's
Still
gonna
has a
hear
job.
this.
Yes.
Well, I mean, but the lane that she lives in now is that's not her job, right? So like now she's a host, but you then question, like, well, who's making this up? Who's not making this up? If she's still in the position, it's a completely different reaction, I think, right? If she's still doing that job.
Is it? She's been promoted.
No, I think if she's still in that job and she says, I've been making this up, she's fired. But because she's a host now rather than a sideline reporter, what are you going to do?
I don't know which judgment is worse, doing it or admitting it years later when you have a $700,000 a year job. We've got a couple of dueling stats of the day. Whoa. Me and Stugotz both have stats of the day. Let's see who's got the best one here. Give me the
Start
stat
of the day.
music.
Start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day. Start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day. Start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day.
Me first?
Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first? Which one has more pressure on it, going first or going second?
I think going second has probably more pressure. I feel very confident in mine, so I will go second. You go first.
So the college football leaders this year in plays over 20 yards are pretty predictable, Stugotz. Offensive plays over 20 yards. You have more than 131 college football teams. Number 3 is Washington. Obviously has a great offense.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 with 76 is USC.
Right.
And tied with USC at the top spot is Jaden Daniels.
That's a good stat.
Just Jaden Daniels. It's USC, it's Washington.
And Jaden Daniels.
And just Jaden Daniels. That is correct.
I went first now.
What do you have?
This, according to the Action Network, TD passes over the last 2 seasons. Matt Ryan, 14. Kenny Pickett, 13.
You told that in the wrong order. You should have
That's my stat.
Yeah, but the punchline would have been
not.
Kenny. It's not your stat.
It's Action Network.
Matt Ryan would be the way to end that.
The way to end that would be like you come
So
in.
Dan won. Yeah.
Kenny Pickett has 13, and then Matt Ryan is the last word.
Matt Ryan hasn't played since week 14 of last season. I understand what you're saying, Dan. Yeah, I botched the joke.
You're tired because weekend observation
should have went first. Yeah.
Really took it out of you.
Yeah. It's a great stat, though. Think about that. Matty Ice has more touchdown passes than Kenny Pickett over the last 2 years. That's so great. I love that. I wish the Jets had Matty Ice. I do. Be 8-2. I mean, or Kenny Pickett for that matter. 7-3 with him.
We will get to some Ron Washington sound in a second, Stugotz's favorite manager. Yes. But why, Billy, were you and Chris Cody arguing this week about Waze? Because I needed you guys last week when I was talking about not trusting some of the technology. In fact, I said to my wife spent a good portion of the weekend laughing at me because she, on Waze, it said we'd get someplace in 24 minutes because of traffic. And I actually announced like some sort of superhero, not with me driving. And I took a bunch of back routes and
Trying
stuff.
to beat Waze,
I got
huh?
there in 23 minutes.
You're the problem.
Wow,
actually.
you won.
Well, you won.
I mean,
Congratulations.
cost, though?
Not really. No, I didn't win by enough for it to matter.
I'm telling you, Waze is a dangerous game, man. You're always trying to beat that thing. You're
Yes.
driving recklessly.
That is true. You are always trying to beat it, but I don't like the person who's smarter than Waze. When you get in the car, all right, Waze, we're going this direction. It's like, no, make a right here. I have no time for this because.
But what if that place is actually right? Like if you take this right turn, you're not running into the school, and you know there's a school there. They're letting the kids out. You're going the back way.
Because way more often you get there later and you're the idiot. Like it's not
What is
worth
time?
it. It's not worth.
I have spent so much time in a cul-de-sac feeling shame in front of my wife because I've now gone a direction I shouldn't
Well,
have gone.
that you
Street,
can't
I
do.
swear went through. What happened here?
You got to look at the little map on Waze and see that the streets actually connect to where you want. The thing is, Waze is like the champion of taking you to a place to make a left where there's no light and you have to wait an hour. And they're just assuming, oh, you're going to be able to make a left here and not have to worry about it. They don't account for traffic or whatever. It's like, no one's going to let me make a left there. And I'm not bold enough to make that left. Get out of here.
Do you ever take, like, if you're on, like, a lane that's like, oh, the traffic's not bad here today, so you just, like, say that there's a cop there? Maybe get people to not go there?
You lied on Waze? Like
Really?
You can
fake-
do
You
that?
put misinformation on Waze? You could do that?
I mean, the thing is
because
that-
usually it asks me, is the cop still
Well,
there?
that's how it works.
I
It's like,
always say yes.
I'm relying. Yes, exactly. That's what you need. You
Right.
need people that are like, I see what's going on here. I'm going to say
But
yes
I say
to
yes
this.
because it blocks my map, so I can't see where I'm going. It's like, yes,
Same.
whatever. Just
Just to
out
get
of
it out
here,
of the way.
please, Get
Right,
out of here.
yeah.
Also, Waze, I've caught lying to me in the mornings. I think that Waze is evolving and is going from trying to give you the most efficient traffic route to trying to create traffic patterns. Because I'll find Waze sending me in different ways, no pun intended. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to look at like the different routes and I want to go the same way I always go.
It's got to be more than a 5-minute difference for me to change routes.
No,
if you suggest
That
another
means
route
something
that's
serious
2
has happened.
minutes faster,
Right.
I'm just going to stick with my normal route.
It will give me a different route, and then when I go and I pick my regular route, sometimes it's shorter than the route that it's sending me on. So I think it's trying to control traffic. I think it's saying, you know what? You're one of the early birds here. You're not going to get the worm, though. You're going to go this way, and then the later arrivals, they're going to go the more direct route because we know that it's going to fill up, so we may as well send you this less popular way now to clear up traffic for the late arrivers later on. I'm on to Waze. I'm not 100% yet. I'm still kind of in the
Accusation.
The
no,
beta stage.
the exploratory stage of this situation.
That might be the smartest thing Billy's ever said on this program before. Because with sentient AI and what's happening with the AI like models, maybe Waze has a
You don't know
proprietary
what
AI.
that is. You're just saying words to sound smart.
I'm saying normal things that you can follow
Sentient
along.
AI, please.
Sentient
Explain
AI.
that to everybody.
Okay, I'll explain it very quickly. An
Thank
AI
you.
that has its own way of thinking, that has now thought past its human, creators, and is now thinking for itself. But if Waze has had their hands evilly on a plot to control a sentient AI, and their first thought is, let's control the traffic, all of a sudden, Billy's onto something.
There are times
I'm
where
trying to help you.
There are times where it tells me to get off 95. It's like, no, I'm staying.
Right.
Do you guys believe?
And it works out for me.
Rarely,
But sometimes
though.
it doesn't.
Sometimes
almost
I'm
never
like,
does.
sometimes I'm on the exchange at top of that thing, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna be here an hour.
I
All right.
saw a guy.
listened.
I saw a guy in Europe somewhere that he found out that
Europe, please.
they were okay. He found out that they were
Agreed.
using like phone tracking things to tell like where traffic patterns were. So he went and he bought like 100 phones and he put them in a wagon and then he started walking around the street in the wagon and they thought that there was a lot of traffic because there was 100 phones that seemed to be on the same street at the same time and it was just one man walking around in a wagon. So he really cleared up traffic for someone that wanted to take it that day because he had them invent a traffic jam that didn't exist.
I don't need to know about the car stopped on the side of the road. If there's an object in the middle of the road
Right.
or a cop,
Yeah.
those are the things I want to be alerted for.
You
I don't
know-
need to do the thing where it's like, is it still there? Car on the. I don't know if this car a quarter mile. I'm not looking at the side of the road right now. I'm focusing right here.
You know what Waze hasn't factored in yet is express lanes.
That's true.
Like on the way here, they're always telling me I'm going to get here at like 9 o'clock. Then I get to that express lane, and all of a sudden it's bumped up to like 8 o'clock. You know, like bumped up an hour. They haven't. It's not smart, Waze. It's not as smart as it could be.
Not
It's
yet.
not factoring certain things in. Just not.
Do you guys believe as I do, that being stubborn about directions, I've had this thought when I'm in a cul-de-sac after I've told my wife I know where I'm going, and now I'm driving around in a dead end. This is
Just in a
gender.
circle?
This is gender specific, right? Stubborn about directions
No.
is male.
No.
I think it is. Not asking for directions, not wanting to ask for.
Are you stopping at a gas station? I've never done that.
No, you're telling Waze, I know these streets better than you do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
But sometimes you do. I mean, if you live those streets, you know those streets. What you have to do, Dan, every time you end up like in a roundabout that you didn't know was there, is you just have to always, that didn't used to be there. And then it's like, they're on to you.
right.
They've been putting up these roundabouts to like change traffic patterns all over the place. There was an intersection that I was at that I was like, there was not a roundabout here 2 weeks ago, and now there's a roundabout. Why? I don't know.
I don't think there's a proliferation of government development
you don't
on
know that.
roundabouts.
No,
How do we feel about the
If you know
roundabout?
the right Pip ideas, you could get a roundabout on your
Attaboy.
street.
How do we feel about the roundabout?
Well, what do you mean?
Just in general, because they're popping up everywhere.
Annoying.
I like a classic. Give me the classic four-way stop.
Right.
I could use a roundabout on my street, honestly.
Four-way stops suck.
Four-way
Whoa.
stops. No, I mean,
They're
it's
the worst.
It's a dangerous game.
You're the worst.
Everyone wants to go. No one
Roundabout
wants to
is-
go.
no,
Yeah.
roundabout
means I'm going first.
Roundabout is a more dangerous game than
Yes.
a four-way stop.
No,
Stugotz.
but if you put a roundabout that used to be a straight street without a stop at all, then it slows traffic down, and then you're not getting kids running out in the street getting hit by cars.
Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show, Juju. More dangerous game, the four-way stop or the roundabout?
Speaking of the poll, this is amazing. Canal Street, New York or New Orleans? I cannot believe this.
Going well for Dan.
65% of the audience thus far, early voting, Dan, says New Orleans.
Almost 1,000 votes.
That's amazing.
Is it?
Look at Dan smirking. He's like,
it-
damn
You're
right.
happy. It's the only reason you put it up
But
there.
Is it
I mean-
amazing? It's not the only reason. You guys are yelling at me. You made me apologize.
That was very
You
stupid.
Dan, be
started
meaner. Say
telling
everyone
me
With
bleep
the, with
say
the
you're an
context of
idiot. Say
fake
you're an
bags,
idiot.
no, very stupid.
It was always Canal Street.
You should still apologize.
I think we owe you an apology, Dan. And I'll say it. I'll do it. Dan, I'm sorry.
I think we do.
Thank you, Chris. I
Excellent point
appreciate
about not having women drive, though. Solid.
Let's
Support
play.
you.
Let's play this Ron Washington sound for Stugotz because I'm surprised that Stugotz hasn't been
Danger to us all.
made lightheaded by Ron Washington in his initial Angels press conference.
Tony just learned that he's the manager of the Angels.
saying
I had no idea.
Saying, well, listen
amazing.
listen to this though. See if Ron Washington is showing his age here.
Once we get things together and we get these guys together in spring training and start to work, our whole focus is going to be to run the West down. And you can take that to the bank and deposit it. So
I have a lot of questions. Why is the media clapping?
My question is, does anyone still go to the bank to deposit it?
Did anyone tell him he's not going to have Shohei or Tony or possibly Mike Trout?
To me, that media group clapping is just as offensive as what Charissa Thompson did.
I mean, it could.
Just applauding a man. Like, what
That's
is
an
this?
introductory
That is
press
showing
conference.
bias.
That's
No,
unfair. There's
invited
people-
guests at those
There's
things.
people like there on behalf of the franchise that aren't media.
Family.
There's people there on behalf of wanting someone in the world to say, I'm going to take it to the bank and deposit
Run them
it."
down.
Greg
Take it to the
Cody.
bank.
I miss,
Peter Gammons.
I
is
miss
applauding.
people.
I deposited it through my phone, Ron.
I'm going to go to the Bank of America on Washington, and I'm going to go to the teller, and I'm going to go, hey, Ron Washington told me that he's going to chase down everyone in the AL West. I'd like to
I'd like to deposit that, please.
I think you call the police, Dan.
You put it in an envelope?
I'd like to deposit. Yes, I put it in an envelope.
In the chute?
And I'm like, wait a minute. No, I'm not going through the drive-through.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not taking it up. But are we still using those chutes, those tubes to make the
Yes.
suction sound? They're still being used? Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, they're still there, those drive-throughs, but there's no one's ever in them.
It's usually the employees park their cars there.
It's like a finger sandwich in there. There's not a tube anymore. I'm going to do that. I'm going to videotape myself doing that and see what the teller has to say.